What is up, guys? It is a special editions of the Coach's Corner. You see myself, my guy, Coach Fred, and we're gonna do a little bit of pre. We wanted to do a pre-game episode, man. Huge game tomorrow, Jackson State, Alcorn State, the Soul Bowl in Lorman, Mississippi. And Coach, let them know what we're doing tonight, man. Let them know about our special guest tonight.
Oh man, we got some guys that's been really good for us all year. Couple seniors, man, want to kind of highlight as they enter into their last ball game, possibly their last ball game in Braves. Two guys that I think very highly of. One I know I recruited personally. The other one I kind of recruited him, but then I kind of didn't recruit him. But we'll get into that story later there on Mr. Bolar. But right now it's my guy Claudin Cherelus. I'm gonna let him pronounce it because he gets a little upset when folks don't pronounce his name correct. I just call him Claude. Mama call him Claude, I call him Claude.
Yeah, man, I kind of got used to it, man. I hear it pronounced a couple different ways, but I go by Claude, but it's pronounced Claudin Cherelus.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. So for everyone out there, because listen, I've heard from all the different channels, I've probably heard about 15 different pronunciations of your last name, man. I'm just going to throw it out there. I've heard everything, but man, let's jump into this. The front seven has been, let's just say, one of the strengths of the team this year, man. You guys at one point ranked top 5 in the country in tackles for loss and sacks. What's been the key for you guys in terms of bonding and executing on such a high level this year?
Yeah, I just think we just got a whole bunch of guys that just bought in and just keep working. Like at the end of the day, Coach Bradley always say, even if your rush gets, you get blocked, just keep working, and the outcome might play in your favor. And I just think we got a bunch of D linemen, linebackers that just play hard, run to the ball, and it's paying off.
And you transferred in from UMass. What was it about Alcorn State that made it the place for you to finish your college career?
Yeah, I tell everybody the same thing. I needed a place where I can just come, focus on football, and have fun at the same time. And I felt like Alcorn was the best spot for me to do that. And I got along with everybody, and I don't regret making this decision.
And before I let Coach jump in, man, a big game tomorrow. What's been the mindset in the locker room, kind of the tone around the team, man, about this upcoming game tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, to be honest, it's one of those games where you really don't got to say too much. Everyone pretty much knows what's at stake and what type of game this is. So it hasn't been much said. It's kind of like a mutual understanding. Like everyone knows what time we on come tomorrow.
I'll let you go ahead, Coach, before I wrap this one up.
I just, as I always talk to him in the recruiting process, how in the heck did a Florida boy, a Central Florida, almost South Florida boy, end up in freaking UMass? You're not yet in UMass, Massachusetts.
Yeah, man. So actually, UMass was my second offer, and they pretty much stayed with me the whole time throughout the recruiting process. And I was gonna go farther up north and to a colder spot in Minnesota, but things happened and things changed. So I ended up going to UMass with one of my former high school teammates, one of my close friends, and yeah.
That's how we wind up from Central South Florida to UMass. One thing before we let Claude out of here, be very proud of this guy, man, as he graduated at the end of the summer into a situation now where he's working on a second degree, man. Just real proud of him. Want to make sure I let him know that. Head got even bigger after he graduated, but that's part of the deal, man. I appreciate it. It's my guy, Claudin Cherelus.
And last question, man, for you jump out of here, man. What does tomorrow mean for you, man? It's senior day. It's the Soul Bowl, man. What's in your mind? It's hard to predict. What's that emotion going to be like running out of the tunnel one last time with your teammates?
Yeah, I told the guys already. I'm not gonna cry, but it's my last. Could be my last collegiate game, and at a home crowd with my family in attendance. That's the first game this season, so I know it's gonna be a lot of emotions running down, but I'm gonna just try to stay composed and just do what I do.
Hey, man, I love it. And one last thing, man, what's your message to all the Alcorn State fans out there about what they can expect from y'all tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. when we kick this thing off?
Um, keep the faith.
Hey, man, I love it, man. Hey, well, we appreciate you joining us, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you ball out, man. And we'll definitely have to get you on in the off season once you get to those all-star games and things this upcoming early spring.
Most definitely. Appreciate it.
Hey, for sure. What's good, man?
My guy CJ Bolar.
Hey, no introduction needed, I'm sure, for a lot of people, man. And CJ, we'll start with this. You know, I've talked to a few athletes on the show who have dealt with injuries, especially ones in their senior year. Can you kind of talk about the behind the scenes of how tough that was for you in your senior year to have to overcome an injury and what it means to be back on the playing field finally?
It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Not many people think about that, but it's really a struggle because you work so hard to get to this point, and it's your senior year. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to go do big things, and minor setbacks happen. So it's okay. You know what I'm saying? To be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? I really just persevered through because I knew if I kept my head down and working, it's gonna be green on the other side. So I just try to keep that in mind.
Man, and I love it. And, you know, you guys have also had two quarterbacks this year, man. Unfortunately, quarterback Aaron Allen had an injury this year. What's been the adjustment, man? And what can we, as the wide receiver unit, what can we expect from Trey tomorrow afternoon with the wide receiving core?
Well, we're gonna do our best to keep him composed. It's gonna be I'm not gonna say a hostile environment because it's our home crowd, but it's gonna be a hostile. It's gonna be a hard fought game. So we're just gonna do our best to make plays whenever he trusts us to make them, and hopefully that'll get his confidence up.
And before I toss it over to Coach, what does it mean to you to be the next Alcorn State wide receiver to be considered for the next level, man? We had your guy Pringle last year do really well at All-Star games and went on to the next level. What would it mean to you to be the next guy wide receiver from Alcorn State to make it to the next level and find another opportunity after college?
It's really an honor because not too many people have this opportunity to do it. And for the future, you know what I'm saying, people who think that maybe Alcorn is a place that I can actually do that. So it's really an honor to actually be in comparison with those people who've done it in the past.
And I'm gonna throw it over to Coach. I know he said he had a recruiting story for us, man. So, Coach, I'll let you take it away before I end the interview with some more questions on his career.
Well, he may not remember, but when he went into the portal, being down the street I started my career in Mississippi at Pearl River Community College. I have a house in that area, so I knew of him. And when he went in, we texted a couple times, and he's one of those guys you can tell he's not he's not really talkative. So I text and I'm like, hey, is it better to talk? Is it better to text? And he texts back, Coach, it's better to text. And he kind of caught me off guard because I was like, wait. He actually said, okay, so we're texting. And then we kind of get into a point and he's like, hey, I'm going to hit you back. I'm about to go to work or something like that. And I was like, okay. And he never hit me back. And then like 4 days later, he hits me back. And then Coach Mack said he's coming. And I'm just like, well, I think I kind of recruited him, but I'm not sure how that kind of went. But, it's just one of those deals, man. But he's been everything that the billing was for him, before he got here. And I just want to ask him, and I think we kind of talked about it briefly when I interviewed him earlier, small town, Purvis, Lumberton area, going to Vanderbilt, the mindset that had to be as a freshman going into that. Can you speak to just a little bit of the mindset that you had then and where you are now mentally from that freshman year, stepping on campus to about to step out of campus? He's about to graduate. I saw the paperwork. He's filled out his graduation deal, so we got all the fines paid up. Next thing is to walk across the stage and get that paper. So where do you think you are now from that first day on the college campus to now?
Well, then when I first got to Vanderbilt, first got to college, I was just excited to be there. Excited to have a chance because not too many people where I'm from had the opportunity, especially to go to a school like that. You know what I'm saying? Right out of high school. But I was just ecstatic to play football. Like, I didn't care about my number, my swag, or anything. I was just happy to be on the team. Um, I know that mindset has shifted a little bit. The focus is much, much, much stronger now. Honestly, I look back on that freshman walking on the campus and looking at me now. It's really the same person. I'm really happy to still be playing ball. You know what I'm saying? Because it could have went a lot of different ways for me, and I'm glad you know what I'm saying, was able to stick to this route. Now, I feel like I'm more locked in and engaged on how football is supposed to be played, how you're supposed to read things, and just taking advantage of that.
Cool. That's what I want to know. Was there growth in there?
Definitely was, man. You could see it on you could see it on the field for sure too, and I'm sure off the field as well. But man, a big matchup tomorrow, a secondary that has not allowed more than 150 yards through the air in a single game, man. Watching film this week, what are some things that you've seen that are going to be challenges? But how do you feel going into this one, and what's kind of been the mood of the locker room going into this matchup?
In the wide receiver room, we got a bunch of veterans. So our mindset from week to week doesn't change. We always say the next game is the biggest game because it's the next one. So we always have that mindset. Personally, looking at the film, they got a couple playmakers on the other side of the ball. But main thing they want to do is one high man, blitz one, linebacker. It's pretty much their bread and butter. They got faith in those front seven guys, the linebackers. So a lot that attributes to that 150, not allowing over 150 yards is that front seven. So we're gonna have to do a good job taking care of that part.
Absolutely. And I asked Claude this question, senior day, what's that emotion going to be coming out of the tunnel for that last time as an Alcorn State Brave?
Man, like I said earlier, I would have never imagined I got to this point. So I feel like all those feelings are probably not gonna hit me then, but once I get after the game and everything like that, it'll probably all hit me at once.
And the final thing, man, what's your message to all the Braves fans out there about what they can expect from not only you but for the team tomorrow against Jackson State?
Our best. Our best. That's all I can say about that. That's the only thing I can say.
Hey, man, I love it. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I know you guys got a lot to do, man. So for you to make a little bit of time for the show, definitely appreciate you. We're gonna have to catch up with you after the season, man.
For sure.
Got my guy, man. Got one left here, possibly two.
All right.
Agent Zero has to rock with us just a little bit there. So, the guy everybody's talking about, man. So I had him drop by, come fool with us for a little bit. So Agent Zero, meet my boy Zach.
So, man,
What's up, man?
Bluebloods.
Hey, man, this is a big one. I know a lot of people. The first question, a little bit of lighthearted one. When you first got deemed, I believe it was on one of the games on HBCU Go, they gave you the nickname the Purple Rhino, and you were like, "Nah, man, we got to go with Agent Zero." But what was your initial take on that first nickname that they gave you on the broadcast?
Oh man, I said, man, it got to be the color we wearing. But I mean, if it's coming from the way I run, I can see that, but I was like, man, we got to switch that up, man. We can't rock like that, man. That ain't that ain't the good one right there. That ain't the good one. When I had first came in, they gave me the name Agent Zero, but they didn't let me know that was my name until probably the third week I was here. Well, really, when we got in pads and started running the ball, that's when they gave me the name. So that was the big take on that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I did a live, and Coach can vouch for me on this one. I was like, "Nah, we got to change that up. That can't be his nickname. That's not a great one." But man, the only 1,000-yard rusher right now in the SWAC going into this weekend. What does that mean to you to have the season that you've had in your first year at Alcorn State?
Man, gotta give glory to God, man. I mean, it's without him, man.
I don't know how this be possible. I mean, it's my first year in college, able, doing that. The 2 years that I had at Hughes, that I actually played, still don't amount to what I accomplished while I was here. I still thank them for everything that they have put, to get me to this point. But just giving the coaching staff, the O-line, everybody, I couldn't do this without people around me, quarterbacks making good reads, receivers make, good routes, taking the heat off of me. It just come down to those type of things when it come down to being 1,000-yard back. Everybody look at you like he's a hard runner. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it take a lot of people to believe in you, to put that trust in you, so you can make those type of plays and make those things happen on the field. So I just want to thank everybody that gave me an opportunity to do what I can do. And just going into the game, I mean, it's a lot of guys that got a lot of talent, but it's just, you have different guys in certain situations to, when it comes down to being a 1,000-yard back. You got guys that probably be more than 1,000-yard back, but it's just situations at certain guys' schools, you never know, like, what they're in. So, definitely got a lot of good backs in the SWAC. So, I just had to keep my head down and stay grounded.
And your breakout performance was that 300-yard, 4-touchdown performance earlier this season, man. Did you understand like where you were at during that game, or was that one of the situations where you got to the locker room and they were like, "Did you see your stat line?" Or did you know like you were almost at 300?
When I'm in the game, I really don't care about the stats as long as we winning. We would have lost that game, I would have probably brushed it off. But in halftime, I didn't care. What happened at the end of the game, I really didn't care. As long as we was winning at the end of the game, that's all that mattered to me. But I mean, it was huge. That was huge. That helped me. That really helped me for that 1,000 yards. I mean, that one game, that did help. That helped. That put me up. But I don't be worried about the stats. The stats gonna be there regardless. But as long as we winning, that's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters when it comes down to it.
And before I toss it back to Coach, if I'm not mistaken, I think there might have been one, but Jackson State has only allowed either none or one 100-yard rushers. I think the stats got mixed up last week. I think Eaglin was close. Are you accepting that challenge? And how do you feel going into this one that you could be the first 100-yard rusher against the number one rush defense in the SWAC right now?
They put their pads on just like me. That's all I gotta say. I mean, I'm ready. I like challenges. It come down to who wanted the most. I mean, if I go to the bathroom, they're gonna have somebody open the stall for me. That's the only thing I can tell you on that. So, I mean, only thing it come down to who wanted the most. I mean, I know I'm ready. I'm ready. I pay attention to that type of stuff. Who have 1,000, who have 100 yards on such and such and here. But it really at the end of the day, like, you got to really believe in yourself when it comes down to it. At the end, I believe in my O-line that we're going to come through. We're going to pick it up this weekend. Because at the end of the day, I can be 100. I can be ready, but everything going to move around that O-line. And that's just the more of the story.
Hey, man, I love it. Coach Fred, I'm going to toss it to you. I'm sure you got some recruiting stories getting him from Syracuse. But, man, and then I'll wrap up the interview, man, with some questions about tomorrow.
It's I talked to him quite a bit, and it's just one of those deals where it was like, how did you get from Columbia to the Cuse? That in itself is a story that a lot of people don't know, because it was straight out of high school. It wasn't junior college. It wasn't prep school. It was straight out of high school, and you don't hear about a lot of kids from South Mississippi going to Syracuse, New York. And you played what position in high school?
Everything, really. Running back, linebacker. I played everything. I even kicked a little bit. My coach actually sent me to a Ray Guy kicking camp in 9th grade. He felt like I was the smartest kid on the roster to bring back the information. But I played a lot. I can do a lot. But it was like I started leaning more to the running back side my senior year, and I always wanted to be a running back. But it was just like I played whatever the team needed me to play. So when it came down to my senior year, I was like, Coach, like, I'm trying to make it happen at running back. And I stopped going, like, all ways. I wasn't going 2 ways no more. It hurt the team. It did. But my coach was like, hey, at the end of the day, guys got to step up and play their role. He was like, you're getting the rock every play. Guys got to start stepping up, at least play defense. But coming from coming from like East Marion going to Syracuse, and that was big. That was big. Man. I had a lot of offers. I had Tennessee, had Ole Miss, but at this point in time, Syracuse was matching over my scenario, what I needed at that point in time. I wanted to be at like a 10. I wanted to play at like Tennessee, but it was like my recruitment wasn't as strong with the other schools, and Syracuse came in late, and I was like, man, I want to try something different. Let me see if I can go and make something happen in New York. So I was hearing about the Jim Browns, Ernie Davis, okay. those type of backs. So I'm thinking like, man, they run the rock, like they really run it. But then when I started looking deep into it, it was other plans. But they put me in a position to be successful where I was at. But when it was time for me to when it was time for me to really reevaluate my life, I knew where I needed to be. And I really thank them for that. Straight out of high school, when I was in 10th grade, I had got offered by as soon as Coach Mack had got the head coach job here Alcorn. I actually got offered by Coach Mack then, and I just knew from the beginning if anything would have happened, I knew that I always had somewhere to come back home to because I had a connection with Coach Mack from the beginning, and what the coaching staff had brought to the table coming straight out of recruitment from Syracuse, I knew I was okay. So I just I kept my nose clean, try to graduate early so I could come and have 2 full years of eligibility.
You ever meet Coach Boeheim?
Actually, I didn't. I didn't meet Coach Boeheim, but he was always in the area, like all the time. Like,
that's my basketball team. Like college basketball, that's my go-to. The Keeps.
Yeah, man, it's like college. Syracuse is a big time party school, man. I remember one time, Coach Boeheim, man, had them guys working so hard, man. Them dudes barely could stand up some days. It was crazy, man.
Hey, that's why they're so good in March, man. It just seems like even if they're like the 10 seed, they're just rolling through people in March.
Every time.
It's ridiculous, man. But I know that this is your first year at Alcorn, man. You mentioned you had 2 years of eligibility because you graduated early. Are you planning on coming back next year for the Braves?
Yeah, I'm planning on coming back.
Coach said it better be a yes.
Yeah, I'm planning on coming back. When you do something like this, first time it happened, 2 times for sure. You just gotta make sure, for 1, for 2, I have I'm in my master's right now. And, football is a game of inches, man. Not just on the field, but with your life. So you really gotta make sure that's what you in for when you win it. It ain't no halfway. When you win it. So I'm gonna come back and do this thing for another year. And just make that thing happen.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man. Hey, I love it, man. Thank you for making time for us, man. We're gonna have to get you on for a full interview during the off season, man. So we'll definitely stay in touch, man. But good luck tomorrow. I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing what you do tomorrow again against Jackson State, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Cornelius. That's my guy, Malik Rodgers. He'll be here tomorrow.
What's good, man?
Number 2, transfer Tulsa. My co-host, my guy, and Air Force. Believe it or not.
Hey, man, I appreciate you.
To him real quick, dude.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. I mean, the first question is, man, why Alcorn State? Well, what was it about the program, the recruitment that made that the place for you to come to?
No, I think it just stuck out. Definitely, when I ended up leaving Tulsa in the spring, my grandfather actually lives in Tupelo, Mississippi. So he would always tell me, he's like, man, we got 2 HBCUs for you. We got Jackson State and Alcorn. We got some stuff for you. He always leave out Valley, but he's like, we got 2 for you. And I think when he said it, it just kind of stuck. I was like, Alcorn, where's Alcorn? Because it's just, it's a name I'm not really used to hearing. So I looked it up, everything else. I was like, okay, cool. And then, 2 weeks later, Coach Fred come calling. I'm like, this is a sign? Like, what's going on? End up taking my visit out here pretty quickly for the spring game. And then, saw what they were doing with the passing game, saw what they're doing with in general with the offense and defense, and I fell in love with it pretty quickly and committed actually pretty quickly.
And I mean, the wide receiver room deep, of course. We just talked to CJ, man. He's the senior leader of the room. Can you talk a little bit about his leadership style in the wide receiving room and how easy it was for you to kind of assimilate yourself into the group and how it's been over these past few months getting used to being down at Alcorn State?
Nah, most definitely. You know, it's definitely always tough whenever you leave university. And having him had already left the university to come here. He's definitely one of those people that kind of showed the ropes. The leadership that he has is kind of, the reason why, he did so great last year. And the reason why he's just a great brother, great friend this year is just because he's a great leader. Kind of took me underneath his wing, told me about the offense, told me about the routes, told me how to work each individual route to kind of be the best of what I can do. He knows what I could do. He saw what I could do. He took me in as a brother, and it's kind of showed as far as like just the brotherhood between the receiver room. When one person wins, all of us win. And just seeing him being on the sidelines with us, and seeing him being on the practice field with us, and always staying locked in, and always staying ready to go, even though he was hurt, definitely spoke volumes to me because he's one of those people that you want to make sure that is there to lead the team. And seeing his face every single day, especially in the receiving room, definitely one of the biggest things for me because I'm like, okay, this dude right here, this dude's a leader. This dude, he wants to make sure everybody else is great, even if before self. And seeing that and hearing that all the time is definitely something I'm trying to emulate next semester or next season when we got to do it without him.
Absolutely, man. And coming into this matchup, it's a big matchup, man. Soul Bowl, but one of the biggest rivalries in the SWAC, man. What has been the coaching staff's message and the older players' message to you guys who have never played in this game on what to expect tomorrow?
Aside from the biggest one, win, take it in, man. Take it in. I was at Tulsa, and the biggest games that I played in were Michigan State. We played Cincinnati for the conference championship. We played Mississippi State for a bowl game. I played in some pretty big competitions, but there's nothing quite like the Soul Bowl from what I've heard already, and it's already getting packed. Like things already surpassed homecoming, and I was like, goodness gracious, like this is one that's gonna be one for the ages. I think the best message that I heard was take it in, take everything in. Don't let it get too big, but make sure that you understand exactly where you're at and kind of make sure that you take in a piece of this is a big game where I can go and do great in. And I think this is a game definitely we can, as an offense and as really as a whole team, go prove the Alcorn that we've always been in the whole season. I think this is the best game to do it. I've never played Jackson State, but I already don't like them boys from up north, so it's really like that. So I'm excited for the game. I'm happy for it, and I'm ready to go in.
Hey man, I'm excited to see it, and yeah, listen. This will be my first Soul Bowl too. I went to the week 1 game. It rained for like 17 hours straight for that Stephen F. Austin game. So I'm hoping it won't be like that this time. But yeah, I mean, when you got people sleeping in their cars the night before the game just to be in the gate as a different level. I couldn't do it. Listen, I'm coming to the hotel. We'll see if I get in. But Coach, man, I'm gonna toss it over to you, man.
We good, man. Like I said, this is my guy. We talked about earlier on, me and you kind of off camera, whatever. The guy that's up next, and he's up next if I don't kill him first. But he's a guy that we're excited about having coming back in the fold. He's a guy that I'm really excited about seeing tomorrow in this atmosphere. Did you get a chance to see us play Stephen F? Not Stephen F. McNeese, because you were here for Stephen F.
Yep.
So McNeese. He's the reason we didn't win by 21.
Oh my! I knew he was gonna bring it up, man.
He's the reason.
Hey, God. He made up for it though. That Southern game he played. That Southern game he played really well. He played.
Yeah,
he was the guy.
Because you said it. I'm gonna finally let it go because I never thought about it that way. You're right. So
he made up for it. Listen, a touchdown tomorrow, and then you can't ever bring it up again. If he gets you a touchdown tomorrow,
right.
Yeah, it goes away.
Tomorrow, it all goes away.
That's what we're
But if not, it's still right there in the back of the mind. But great kid, man. He's up next. So he's the guy that we want to make sure that they know about and and hopefully he can perform. I mean, we're talking about already, from my understanding, RB is there's already been in ticket sales alone. There's less than like what did she say? There's less than 1,000 tickets left. Like, so it's gonna be like walk up. If you don't walk up fast enough, you're not gonna get in. So we're talking about a stadium that holds close to 25 inside, and they're still telling what's gonna be outside. So starting to pick up, like you said, getting really excited, man, and guys are here getting ready for team movie and things like that. So we just want to do a quick show. Me and my boy introduced him in. Malik Rodgers, number 2. If he goes deep and he has an opportunity for an 80-yard touchdown and he just stops, this is the face you put it to, right here.
Oh, man. Hey, man, don't worry. I got your back. A touchdown tomorrow. I'm on Coach Fred on the Coach's Corner next week.
Yeah, most definitely appreciate you. It's gonna go away tomorrow. I'm not tripping on it.
Oh, man. But, man, Coach Fred, I appreciate you, man. I know you guys got a bunch of stuff coming up, man, but how are you feeling? You know, we talked to the players. Now we get a coach's perspective, man. How you feeling going in tomorrow about your team?
You know, again, it's one of those situations, man, where we're talking about a rival game. It doesn't matter if everybody is 10-0 or 0-10. You put all that stuff to the side because everybody's going to come out and give their best. You know, we just got to hang on early, control our emotions. When I say hang on, control our emotions. No silly stuff early, not hurt ourselves, and see what happens. You know, you eliminate those things, and we talk about it every week on the show. There's certain categories you don't want to win, and that's the turnover deal and the penalty deal. So if we can avoid winning those, it gives us an opportunity to win the game.
Hey, absolutely. Well, Coach, man, good luck. I know me and Coach will be back next week with the Coach's Corner. Could have some special guests next week. We'll keep you guys updated. You can just click on the community tab on the YouTube page. But listen, man, like the video, subscribe, comment any questions that, man, me and Coach need to address next week. And me and Coach will catch y'all after the game, man. But for Coach Fred, myself, this has been the Coach's Corner, and we are out.